Hey guys, it's me, Froggy. We're right here with another story out of Justin Posey's Beyond the Map's Edge. So hopefully now you're not stumbling across these videos. You are looking for them because you want to know more about this particular story or the hunt in general or my take on where I think it is. So that's why I'm not really doing too long of an introduction. I'm not assuming that you just watched this video out of the blue. I don't even know how the algorithm. Okay. If this was your first video of mine that you've seen, put something in the comments because I'm curious. I don't think it's working. Everyone I've talked to, the comments that I engage with, mostly they're people who are looking for something specific, right? Because that's kind of the goal, right? If you're looking for the treasure hunt, I want you to find this channel. I'd be curious if there's some kind of crossover with. Well, today we're going to talk about BEANO, but some of my other topics I've talked about. I don't know, cars, street racing. Arizona, New Mexico, people that don't like Montana, if somehow the algorithm picks up on those and spreads it. Anyway, so yeah, that's the introduction for this video. Is we're gonna cover the BEANO Betrayal. We're not gonna. I did work on some solves this past weekend. I'll talk a little bit about the theory, but nothing really came out that I thought was really productive. So I'm not gonna waste your time spouting them. I talk about them on Discord anyways. But okay, so that's the plan for today. The BEANO Betrayal, one of my favorite stories, and I did get a chance to ask Justin. If you don't know, I did get a chance to interview Justin, and that's on this playlist. It's on one of my videos. It should be pretty. If you search by popularity, it's the most popular. Search by views, it's the most viewed video, so it should be easy for you to find. And around minute 16, because I just listened to it again, it's like minute 16 and some change. I asked him about this chapter because I thought there was something in his response, but. And I'll tell you what that is, but I think it's the nothing burger. So here we go. Starts out summer of starting off great. Here we go. Starting out in the summer of 2002, page 108, the BEANO Betrayal. He's a college and sophomore, and we don't know. I was reminded by a smart viewer. I don't remember the name, but I was reminded. Actually, it's in one of the comments that he didn't graduate. So that could be a reason why him and Aiden didn't continue to dorm. But so again, so I don't know. He's a sophomore. I don't know if he left his junior year, which I feel most people leave their junior year, or if he left early in the senior year, like first semester, or I'm not sure when he left. But regardless, summer of 2002, it looks like he says he was stationed for the weekend at his dad's house, and later he says his mom is expecting him home that night. So putting two and two together, even though it doesn't say, we can kind of assume it's a Sunday, right? It's a Sunday afternoon to Sunday evening. That's the way I'm reading it. If you read it different, let me know. But does that matter? Not particularly. I just like to find out little things because it makes me feel like I'm solving stuff, right? All right, and so Jenny loves bubbles. So she's got this bubble wand, right? And it's cracked. And so here's where I thought that there's a secret in here, okay? So let me explain my reasoning. Okay, so Jenny has a bubble wand. Right, and maybe they were on some afternoon date going to like dollar store, picking up trinkets, whatever, we don't know. She's got this bubble wand that she's really excited about. And it spouts a crack, which, I don't know, I guess it happens, right? Especially if you were to get at a dollar store. And so we're continuing with a little bit of a chivalrous knight theme by him mentioning knight and then dragon and cavalier, and so on. But he goes looking for a bottle to replace. And so here's where I thought there was a little bit of fishiness, was that in the book, he's saying that he's searching for a container. He finds a bottle of BEANO, and he says he doesn't know what it is. I had never heard of BEANO. And he reads the label, and that's where he learns what it does. And so that's when he decides, I'm just going to eat the rest of the pills. Which the kind of reasoning I was thinking was, okay, well, I mean, you're at your dad's house. I'm assuming the dad's not there, or else you just would have asked the dad. But, you know, maybe he doesn't want to get in trouble if he leaves a bottle of pills out. Then they're going to say, hey, what'd you do with my BEANO bottle? So he wanted to erase all evidence of it. So he's like, well, instead of flushing the pills or throwing them away, I'll just take them. Because if he's truly naive, right? A super smart guy like Justin, which can be, you know, we can have we can be good, smart in one category and ignorant in another. But he really doesn't. He says he doesn't know like the effect that eating 20 would do. So he downs a bunch of them, the remaining pills, right? We don't know how much was left, and maybe there was like 6 or 7, which wouldn't be that bad. And he goes on. But so the reason why I thought there was something fishy was because when I asked him about it in the interview, again, if you want to watch it, it's minute 16. I was like, yeah, BEANO, and he's like, yeah, I don't know what I was thinking. I had a date that night, so I didn't want anything to go wrong. It just feels like at that point he knew what it was, and I understand. Early he talks about some discrepancies in the memories are because that's the way time affects it, and I understand how memories can change, and I know it's a story, but in the end, right now, not in the end because it's not over yet, but as of right now, I've decided that it's just a humorous tale. Something that happened, and he, maybe elaborated a little bit or wrote floweryly to spice things up a little bit, right? So I don't think there's any really big clue there, other than the continuation of the, no, not really royal, but the night theme might be something there, especially because the action happens later in the night. And so okay, so we go out, he's a little bit goofy with the I like breasts comment, right? That's kind of funny, cringeworthy, a little bit of a what's it called? Self-depreciating humor. I apologize for everyone who had to endure that. I'm not going to edit it out. All right, so we go on. He meets the ex. Like, this is something out of a movie, right? Awkward date, babbling at the mouth, saying silly things. The ex is taking the order, raise the eyebrow, all that. I guess earlier, when the first couple times reading it, I was thinking that the side effect of taking that much BEANO would be like diarrhea, and that's why there's the deep intestinal pain and cramps. But I don't know. After Googling it, I don't really think that would be the case. It'd be more like just distress, intentional distress, severe bloating and cramps, I think. So it's not as bad because honestly, like, full disclosure, in my head, I pictured him ending this story, like, from the way it's as written, like I was kind of reading between the lines, not for clues, but for, humor. And I thought he's like, pooped himself, right on his mom's porch, right? Which, didn't really make much sense because if that was the case, he would have just relieved himself at his dad's house if he had to go. But the more likely scenario, based on my research, right, is that it's just cramps. And you can't really do much to alleviate cramps but just, like, write them out. So that's why he just wanted to lay down and write them out. And he knew that he had to be home at a certain time, so he couldn't write them out at his dad's house. He had to drive home. So everything checks out. The story makes sense. Maybe a little bit of exaggeration here and there, but I don't think there's any big discrepancy that we can hone in on a clue. I mean, it'd be kind of silly, right? If the big thing to crack this whole mystery was a keynote found in the BEANO Betrayal. So I don't know. That's just where I'm at right now. But I just wanted to explain my thought process as I'm working through this. Another key here, which I will be fully upfront and say I don't take credit for any of this. I was not going down this route at all, but I kind of like it. Page 109 toward the bottom, we talk about a sinister cramp hoisted its Jolly Roger. And then he goes on saying, exact quote from the book, the bottom page 109, I endeavored to sail on as a stoic captain, my discomfort concealed from Jenny like a pirate's treasure. All right, so one, we key in because treasure is what we're looking for. So any mention of gold, treasure, secrets in the whole book, we're going to key in on and pay attention to regardless, right? I'll give full credit to the first person I heard mention this, which is, again, I apologize if someone else said this before. I wasn't there and I didn't hear it and I didn't read it. But the first person I heard say connecting Justin to any kind of pirate was Indy, right? So she was making a connection to, which, I don't know, her connection might be secret, so I won't say. But she did publicly, she did talk about a pirate and everything. And Justin, she called out some famous pirates, all right? So there's that whole rabbit hole if you want to go down that one. I do like it. One, pirates are always hiding treasure. Even though I saw a Reddit post recently that actually stated the opposite, like, why would a pirate hide his treasure? Maybe for an extreme situation, like they were actively being sailed or they were actively being chased, and then you would ditch something, or if you had enough time, right? I mean, this isn't like you throw something out the window. It's, you'd have to pull into an island, pour it, lower the longboats, go in, bury it, and come back. That's not very quick, right? So maybe if you knew that a ship was a day or two away, or you had to go into a port and you wanted to be emptied for customs, or if in case anyone inspected it, you'd temporarily stash something. But it was a really long Reddit post, very informative, that actually made the statement that very few pirates hid treasure, just because it doesn't make any sense. And there's very little evidence of them doing it. There's a few famous instances of a French pirate, I forget his name, like throwing out a cipher on his deathbed, but like there's very little first-hand evidence of that. And apparently Captain Kidd, is that his name? Captain Kidd was another one who claimed to have buried treasure all throughout the New England area. And again, the evidence is a little bit suspect. And a lot of times the people that shared that, they kind of had an ulterior motive, going back to the 1800s. So that's a little rabbit hole that probably doesn't play into anyone's solve right now. Okay, so going on, we're kind of going to skip a lot of the stuff. I do like this picture right here. I like how it's framed. It looks like there might have been more to it, which is interesting because it's like they're off center. So I don't know who took it. Maybe they took a self timer and set up a tripod and set it on. I don't know. I like the image of them. I mean, they look like a cute couple at the time. This seems like very genuine. I like the whole computer science aspect, right? Plus I heart nerds, right? So I like that one. But I don't think there's any clues. Like, I'm not counting the stripes on his shirt to mean something. I'm not anagramming nerds. But hey, the computer science might be something where everyone's still looking for a cipher and a technical clue. And that might be something, if I were to look on this page, the one thing that did interest me on this page was, where is it? Alchemy, Philosopher's Stone. Here we go. Bottom of page 111, 111. So he goes, I've since heard rumors. So, like, we're stepping out of the story, right? So he's telling the story in a present mode, but he's talking about something in the past. And then all of a sudden he steps out and is addressing you directly. I've since heard whispers and rumors, old wives' tales of Bino's alchemical powers, right? Which, I mean, come on, I don't really think people are whispering in circles talking about Bino's alchemic powers, right? Gas transformed into a solid, a digestive Philosopher's Stone. If you don't know the history of the Philosopher's Stone, it's pretty good rabbit hole to go down. I'd recommend you just Google Philosopher's Stone and find out about it. I'm not a super expert on it, just from my knowledge, which a lot of it comes from Full Metal Alchemist, an anime, I guess, that I was into a while back. I mean, I guess it's an interesting story. But anyways, I'm getting distracted. The bottom line is alchemists were looking for a way to transform one element to another. So transforming the basic one that I hear is lead into gold, or some kind of other base metal, I guess, into gold. But here we're talking about transforming, gas into a solid, which is, I guess, pretty hard to do. Gases under pressure turn into liquids. Anyways, Philosopher's Stone. Whether these accounts hold any scientific water or are merely the musings of the masses, that's a lot of alliteration right there. 3, where most of the time he does 2. So this is a 3-1, merely musings of the masses. I cannot say, but I can attest from personal and painful experience, the BEANO overdose was nothing short of catastrophic alchemy. So maybe that's what happened. He transformed the gas into a solid. Not to get too gross here, but a solid number 2. Which again, I'm still unclear. I mean, maybe, I don't know if I want to go down this rabbit hole, open this door, but were other people under the impression that the story ends with him, like, pooping himself? Or am I the only one just thinking like a child? Again, now I set up the researching, I'm thinking it was just severe cramps, and that's why, he was doubled over in pain. But anyways, days later, nurse my battered ego and still tender bowels. We do hear a happy ending. He gets another date, and he gets the girl, right? In the end, I may have lost my dignity, but I got the girl. And a lifetime supply of BEANO. So that's pretty interesting. So again, moral of the story, if we're looking back, we're going to say, call out the alchemy, call out page 111. If you want to look at computer science, see if there's any codes here. Again, I don't really see anything about codes, but it's a very interesting mention of alchemy. You want to call out Rolodex, because it's nice to have a mental Rolodex of romantic mishaps. Contrast compare with the Rolodex of elementary school constellations. Which actually, since I have the camera, let me just double check. I'm pretty sure. Let's see if I can get an exact page. The Aft Assault. And it's page 97. Yep. So page 97, a celestial canvas that'll have you thumbing through your mental Rolodex for constellations you learned about in 3rd grade. And here we have Jenny had filed me away under Never Again in her mental Rolodex of romantic mishaps. So what does it mean? How are we putting away dates and constellations? Well, an obvious one would be to match up, which again, this is getting into some other people's solves, which I'll stay off their stoop because I'm not really a big, I don't know enough about it. And for me, it's not, I don't want to put in the work, honestly. I guess that's what it is. I don't want to put in the work to go down that rabbit hole. But if you're looking for another confirmer, for those of you out there who have big constellation solves, star solves, you could use that one. A nice pairing, a mate, right, a his and her of the exact phrase, mental Rolodex, comparing dates, right, to constellations. So you're welcome. You probably already have that. Anyways, so we want to call out that. We also want to call out the not royalty, because I want to take the next step and take it to royalty, but it's not. It's just knights, which knights were the grade below royalty, right? So knights, cavalier, dragon, that kind of theme. But it's not really carried over the whole book. I mean, story. It's mainly just that first page, 108, because then we transform into pirates a little bit, and then we go into alchemists. So I guess an alternate title for this story could be, the journey from knight to pirate to alchemist, right? Which is pretty interesting. Or philosopher, right? Philosopher's Stone. But they're not really philosophers that do it. It's alchemists that mess with Philosopher's Stone. So you wouldn't be a philosopher. I feel like this is one of my more rambling videos. I'm kind of just bouncing around. But sorry, I'll just do better next time, I guess. All right, so to end it with a little bit of the state of my current solves is, again, don't have anything to go boost on the ground. This past weekend, the work that I did, it's not even one of my best ones, I would think. It's new for me. I'm trying to look at the phrase shadowed sight. And if you look at a shadow, right, it's almost a reflection, or it could be an opposite, right? So look at a picture of a man standing and you see a shadow off at an angle. That line right where his feet meets the ground, that's kind of a mirror surface. And so you can see himself mirrored in the shadow, because the shadow does everything you do, right? Just like a mirror. So, looking at words that mirror, looking at opposites, looking at reflections, going down that rabbit hole, right? So one example would be in Ursa East, his realm awaits. You go to the west. Another example would be as hope surges clear and bright. What about looking at for the opposite of clear and bright, like murky and dark? That had me for a while going down, looking at rivers that were historically noted for being dark and murky, or currently, right? I think the Missouri River has a nickname, the Big Muddy, and the Colorado River is known for a distinct hue. So maybe that's a sign, like those are the rivers that we're going to focus on for that stanza. So anyways, that's kind of an idea that I was working on, and I carried that out a few different ways. What else? Yeah, opposites. Opposites was my main thing for this weekend, and trying to look at states that I hadn't really looked at before. So looking at California, looking at Texas. The problem with Texas, I love Texas. The problem with Texas is that a lot of the rivers that I'm using involve are near like the Rio Grande or offshoots, and that's near the border. And there's a lot of security implications to that. So. I'm pretty sure Justin's aware of current events. I'm not sure he'd want us really out there digging around, poking around that border, right? So I don't know. For me, that's just another reason to keep Texas off the list, off the short list of serious places to search. I do like, the Big Bend area, which, okay, here's another thing. That there's apparently a couple editions of the map floating around, And depending on which device you view it on, bits of Texas get cut off. Like if I look at Texas on my desktop, just a sliver of Texas is visible. If I look at it on my phone, I can see the whole like arm or elbow, whatever you want to call it. So, and if I look at it on the laptop, it's like in between. So again, just yeah, I don't know about Texas. I really would like to. If I had a serious solve there, I'd love to go. But that's kind of 20 minutes. It's good for this video. That's kind of what I wanted to talk about. Again, wearing the Froggy shirt. I've seen a lot of people order the newer ones, which I think the general consensus is, I think everybody agrees, the newer one is better. So this is the OG one. You can no longer get this. I stopped putting it up there because, again, there's so many issues with the white line, right? The newer ones, I took out the background, so it's just the Froggy on a white shirt. Looks really good. My mom and sister have one, so they've sent me videos, and other people have ordered them too. The size so far I've heard is pretty much true to fit, whatever size you're used to, and it's a great shirt. I've watched this one, about half a dozen times already, and the graphics are holding up pretty nicely. I'm trying to think. So a quick update: the polos probably held up and it's stitching because it's not a press on or iron on. It's like stitched, so it's pretty nice quality. It's just like if you wear it every single week and wash it every week, it'll probably wear out a little bit sooner than everything else. But yeah, I've been washing I have not been using the dishwasher for these. I've been hand washing them. So again, I think maybe it might have slipped in once or twice. But yeah, the images are still holding up pretty nice. So all in all, really like the quality. People have been asking about hats. It's just, the thing with hats is you really have to, I don't want to put out a poor product. And I'm sure most people have tuned out by now. This is not related to treasure hunt at all. But so I want to put out a good product. And hats, so you have to be very careful with how you ship them. So I'd have to make sure that the shipper shipped the hat carefully each and every time, so it wouldn't get damaged by the bill. It wouldn't get damaged at all. So I don't know. I'm still debating on hats about which one I want to use. The company I've been using has like 5 or 6 different types of hats, and I can't say enough good things about the company. Fourth wall merch. So if you're interested about starting an online business and having an online store, and you're looking for a supplier, a vendor, whatever you want to call it, they're pretty much a one-stop shop. You set up your account with them, and they have, again, blank shirts, t-shirts, hoodies, hats, socks, mouse pads, whatever you want. You upload your image. It's very easy to upload, very easy to mess around with. They'll show you a pretty high-quality mock-up of it. They give you a discount of when you want to order a free sample to test it, like when I did my unboxing video. It's not free, but it's heavily discounted, under at cost. I think it's not at cost. There's like a little bit less. They give you a discount, and I think they throw in like $10 or $30 promo credit for your first order. And so yeah, and then it's easy to. They have a website. It's all together. They have links to YouTube, to Instagram, it's very easy to integrate with all your other platforms, right? So again, I'm a fan. Full disclosure, right? Pros. So those are the pros. Some cons. I mean, I think it's a little bit steep, but you know, it's pretty good value for what you're paying for. And by steep, I mean the cut that they take, right? So, for example, if whatever I'm selling is 100% of, they take a cut of that, right? And there's a cut for production, and there's a cut that they take also to handle everything. And so, I think it's fair. Because again, my other alternative would be to, either buy in bulk and take up my spare bedroom with boxes and boxes of t-shirts, right? With no guarantee that the box won't get found tomorrow, or all treasure hunts will end tomorrow, and then nobody's watching treasure hunt videos. So I don't know. That's just me rambling thoughts at the end. All right, I'll probably do a full. I think I've been meaning to do a full video on my experience with fourth wall merch and the pros and cons of that. And if anybody's interested, write a comment saying they're interested, because that's one thing that lets me know what videos to make. Is I'll go off of what I want to do also, but I'll also, which I apologize because Diane's asked a few times, like, hey, when are you gonna get back to JCB, right? And I'll tell you this, I was looking. So okay, this next like 10-15 seconds is just for Diane. Everybody else tune out. But Diane, I was reading the chapter again, The Past and the Future, And what did I pick up on? The 7-word sentence. I don't even have. Oh, I do have the book here. All right, this is just an Easter egg for Diane. I'm sure everybody else is tuned out. All right, the 7-word sentence. So I feel like I might have a video soon. There are 5 steps to unlock it, and this is not new. It's not new. I think people have talked about this before, but I was thinking I found some other words and phrases in the text, and again, going off of the interview that JCB put out when he tells Jam and Emma, like, there's more than just the word search, right? Kind of alluding to there's something in the text that we can use. So I might have something for that. So stay tuned for that. All right, guys, let's cut this off. I'm rambling. Bye. Oh, that's the wrong button.